Long day, lady road. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I just yelled at everybody just then. Welcome to a shill stream, promo stream, chat stream, fun stream. We're talking a great comic, great book, great artist, great dude. And we will have Piper probably jumping in and out too, because she's going to monitor the chat to the best of her capability. She's got to figure out what she's logged in as. But without further ado, it's Skinny the Ninny, the determined man, the man who is possessed.
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 What's up, Jason? Love the intro, man. So much Phil going on there.
So much Phil, man. I got a few of them.
No,
there's a Piper. Yeah, I use that one mainly for the shill streams. Are we good now, Pipes? Hey!
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
3 different emails. So I just have to remember which email I'm using for what thing.
Gives you a different avatar, too. But you're correct now.
No, there she goes. Why are you kicking yourself?
Well, it's better than this avatar.
Well, maybe. I don't know. It's a matter of taste.
This is actually the first go about of doing it in this method. Like Piper was on to try to do it with the first one, and she was able to make it, but the guy didn't show. So it was just a Piper and me stream. So Piper's here to help guide the chat, help me with the chat since I'm blind. I can't read them, and I like to interact with everybody and say hi to everybody. I will go down the list, though, Piper, if you don't mind, real quick. I'll do that. If I miss anybody, let me know.
We've been live this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, just a couple. No, just a minute and a half or so.
Just since you jumped back in.
The whole time that I've been troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it live. This is a train wreck. We got Ray. What's going on?
What's up, Ray?
Yeah, we got Ray. Who else we got? Okay, I'll let you handle the highlights of the peoples. We got Mo. We got Mo Biggs up in the chat. Welcome,
Mo.
Good to see you.
Always good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking for.
Yeah, see if you any noobs.
I was gonna say I keep almost hitting Odin again.
That's fine.
There's Kevlar.
Hit me all day long.
Beat him up to no avail. He likes it rough.
Yeah.
What's up, Kevlar? How you doing, man? Good
see
for
you,
the
man.
channel. Good to see you.
Hail.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. So Piper is here. I mean, she could talk too. It's not like she's not allowed to talk, but she's here to help with the chat. And if you have any questions in the chat, she will direct me to them, and we will ask Odin or us. And this way, we can actually do a full-on stream. I can do a full-on stream and have this be a little more professional.
Full on.
Fully loaded, sir.
Not half cocked.
we don't cock it halfway. We're fully cocked. Well,
fully
Piper
cocked.
maybe not so much, but
yeah, she's
I'm full-assed instead of half-assed. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, we like them full here.
Full assed, full cocked.
Yeah.
Hell
As
yeah.
you can tell, this is the most professional show there is. I don't know if anyone ever's been a privy to mine. Yeah, this is it. This is how we do it.
I wouldn't have it any other way, just
not in the slightest. Gosh,
if it was professional, I'd be like, "What the fuck's going on?"
No, dude. Yeah,
or something.
Dude, if it were professional, I'd wonder what's going on. Like this weird. Yeah, but I mean, let's talk a little bit though. Odin, like what sprung you into comics? Like, what was your first foray? Like, as it like a kid? Were you a teenager?
Foray.
Like, how did you first get into the? Because it's not really like most people like artwork, or they like have really like album art and stuff like that, or they get into pop fine arts and stuff.
Right.
Comics is a niche. Like, what kind of got you into that?
Well, I mean, I was a comic fan as a kid. I mean, that's the first path, right?
Do you remember the first book you ever bought or read?
I don't remember the first book I bought. I remember the first one that blew my mind. And that was actually X-Men #1, the Jim Lee one, the new run of X-Men #1. The gatefold cover, I got the big one, the full cover.
Mm-hmm.
And just how he had panoramaed that whole scene. And then there's tons of cool artwork in the back. And it was really Jim Lee's art.
Nice. Yeah.
Scott Williams inking and stuff. I was like,
forget about it. Yeah.
That was kind of like the first one I remember, but I was into it. I was reading some of the other X-Men stuff and, New Mutants and X-Force, like Liefeld stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was right around that time, and then Image happened, and I was right in that fucking movement. That was my time.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like me. You're kind of like we started in the early, like late 80s, mid-late 80s, mainly late. But it was really those Image guys, like those bombastical, McFarlane, Jim Lee, Silvestri, Liefeld, just those guys that really brought a style to books. And not to say like you had Byrne, you had Adams, Neil and Art, you had all their greats before then who still had style. But these guys just took it to like they added like a cartoony element. And even Jim Lee, he's influenced by manga and anime and all that other stuff as well. I mean, it may not be as prevalent in the style itself, but in the creations, it's there. So
I think what it was you talked about those greats that were kind of like late 70s, early 80s, the Byrne, then Adams. And going back, I love them all. But like at the time, it seemed not as captivating. And for whatever reason, Liefeld, McFarlane, all those guys just like caught us at that age.
I don't know if it's a Gen X thing, like as more like it's just like music. It's like music. It's like why is something more pleasing to our senses more so than other things? And I don't know if it's a generational thing because I still love Kirby. I still love Ditko.
I think those guys borrowed a lot from Kirby, like bringing that excitement level back.
Yeah,
I mean they were homaging him.
Well, Larson especially. Larson is a huge Kirby. Like he kind of rips him even now.
What's up, Luke?
Yo, what's up, Luke? How you doing, man?
Good to see you, mate.
And Piper, don't be afraid to yell at their name. You're allowed to talk, Piper. I don't want you to think you're not allowed to say anything.
No. I figure if I put it up there, then you will see that as soon as you finish whatever you're saying, you'll know that there's somebody to say hi to.
We appreciate you, Piper.
That works.
That's why I don't have to interrupt y'all's talking. I can just put it there and be like, by the way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I mean, but if
it works.
You have anything to put forth, you're allowed to talk too, just so you know. I don't want you to think you're not. You're just. I'm not just using you for your looks.
That's good because I don't really use the camera on Sundays because it's my looking like poop days.
Well, I meant your avatar's there.
Your avatar doesn't look like Sunday.
It's not a Sunday avatar.
You're flipping us off. That's not your Sunday best.
Is that what it's doing? That's perfect for this show then. I mean, really, without a doubt. That's that screams
this is the one. This is the one. This is the Google one too. So my son has had meetings with a school and this and that.
Oh, fuck it.
And he does them through, they want to do them through Google Meet, right? So they send them to my email, the invite. So he clicks on it from my email. So this is what his school looks at when they're trying to talk to him. And it'll say Adventures of Piper, and I will forget. And next thing I know, they'll be like, hey, Mom. Like, they'll be loud, and they're like, your mom's, around, right? And they'll be like, can you explain this?
Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, sorry, it has to. No, there was one time I got into like this cool conversation because they were fascinated because I was like, oh, it's a comics thing. It's a comics channel. It's because this, like all
This is how we are in comics.
Flipping you off. That's a comics.
This is how comics jobs are. Yeah, and
you're not going to get any work in this industry if you're not flipping people off.
Yeah,
pretty much. And I never knew that as a kid. So yeah. I thought it was all fun and games. What did you know? But
Mo here.
Yeah, Mo's awesome, man. It's not a chat until you have Mo in your chat. And we appreciate. We love Mo. We appreciate him swinging by. But yeah, like as far as like I said, the senses, like Larson obviously apes Kirby quite a lot now. But like they were influenced by those younger guys as well. There's older guys, I mean, as well. And like a Gen X thing, I don't like because like I said, we still love six. All those guys, but there's something about that style. I don't know if it like even 90s, like 80s, 90s metal, alternative, like that kind of was the style and art at that point too. Yeah. Like if you look at those guys, like maybe they didn't like listen to that stuff, but their style emulated. Like, dude, Capullo and McFarlane, they've done like McFarlane has done Disturbed album covers. So like their styles just fit. Now, I don't know if it's a generational thing. Like you said, you got into the comics mainly because of those Image guys. I mean, I always remember my very first comic and just because of the way it happened. But it was Ron Frenz that was the artist. But I still, once I saw those other guys, I was like, wow. You know?
Whole new
So I
world.
mean, and did that like influence how you go about your techniques, your tools, and what you do today, or is it just something you find like I find you know, stuff like, you know, Silvestri awesome, but I don't, it's not my style wheelhouse at all.
Right,
So.
right. Well, you know, I
Oh.
mentioned that Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and what's up, Big Dick Bear?
Yo, what's up,
Big
Bear?
Bear.
That's the
I'm
greatest
sorry,
name ever.
Luke is right. It's stuck on the other picture that I flashed for a second. It's stuck on that on YouTube's end.
Oh, you don't have the middle finger up on YouTube?
No, I'm gonna
Oh.
try to change.
We're
it
sitting here
back.
like talking about stuff that isn't even
That's
reality.
funny.
Well,
That's
I'm watching the chat though, and I was like,
You're doing your
"Ahego."
job.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Ahego." I only flashed that for a second. What's going on?
We like it when you flash us, Piper.
There you go.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, that I mean, I still draw from those guys for influence, but it's funny how the guys that I overlooked back then when I was like, Liefeld and McFarlane and Eric Larson, they're the best. Then as I got older, I went back to their influences and went, oh shit, this is actually what I like even more. And so it was weird how that kind of came full circle. But yeah, so I actually draw more from the older guys as far as influence now. Because I remember trying to draw like Jim Lee and Scott Williams, you know.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like Scott Williams, all clean and stuff, and it wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know, after
Your
a while,
stuff is still pretty clean though. I mean,
thanks. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's sketchy. You know, it all depends. But the other revelation was, you know, Bisley.
Oh, without a
Picked
doubt.
up Lobo's
Yep.
back #1. And I was looking at the interior art, and I'm like, this guy colors outside the lines. What the
You can do that.
That was a game
What?
changer. And then like some of those crazy guys, Sienkiewicz, Jay Lee, you know, the guys that
Oh,
are just
dude.
wild. I was like, I
love Jay Lee, man. I mean, his like if you look at his
Old
Namor
Jay Lee.
stuff, and yeah, I mean, I still like his newer stuff. Well, not maybe the newest stuff that he's done.
It's
but,
really
like,
good.
It's really good, but like the Inhumans or even his Batman Superman run, stuff like that. He did Ozymandias after the Watchmen. Really cool, tight, clean, like razor edge, like lines. It's sick. But yeah, his stuff like from Namor, you know, or the Wildcats trilogy,
the Youngblood Strike Files,
Youngblood Strike File,
the Wildcat trilogy, like that stuff was insane.
Insane.
I'm like the anatomy's all over the place. There's
and that's why it was because it was still his like weird, crisp, like those hard blacks and stuff, but it had bombastical, like kind of like of a Bisley sometimes, you know? Like those weird anatomies were in there.
I think he was similar. He saw some stuff because if you look way back in Jay Lee's timeline, his stuff looked like really cheesy B-level Marvel art, like just normal looking stuff. Like he was on the back of a Marvel Comics Presents. And I just saw his name in the credits. I'm like, this isn't Jay Lee art. You know, it looks so normal. I was like, and then I think he was influenced by Bisley. I think he saw some of that outside the line stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I want to do that."
But that kind of comes back to stuff like that we do. You know, like first we emulate like those clean guys. Like, you know, you look at Jim Lee Williams, like you were saying, you see that clean inking, or even this tight stuff like Neil Adams and Art Adams, and like you're like, oh wow, I want to do that. But then once you get a hold or see that heavy metal type style, like for people like us, it's just like, holy mother of Moses. Like you can, like the rule of cool, you know, it's what we kind of aim for, stuff like that we go for. So yeah, to me, it's just, I think I don't know if it's a generational thing because a lot of the guys our age, they're heavy into the image stuff, the 90s stuff, you know, and like there's still plenty of classic style, you know, people that love that stuff that are already just still love the classics. But I think it's more prevalent that you can notice those influences. So, and your stuff, at least with this book, it's on this creepier, edgier, like, you know, macabre side of things. Were you always like into that kind of stuff? Were you more superhero-y, and then you were like, I kind of got more into like the you know, the horror, the Tales from the Crypt stuff or something like that?
It was heavy metal music becoming part of my life, changed everything, right?
Now, about
got more macabre.
When would that be? Do you know, like that? It kind of
really shortly after getting into comics. So like comic books, it's like 11, 12, 13-ish, and then I started. You know, I had an older brother, and all his friends were all metalheads, and they were always like just bombarding me with check this out, check that out. So I was just like a whole world of heavy metal music opened up. But then the album cover art was just ridiculous, you know, on metal albums. And so And it was always art that got me with comic books anyway. So yeah, then all of a sudden everything went darker, more macabre. And for a while, I wasn't even into comics because I was like, superheroes and stuff. I was just like, more into the music. And so I was doing like album cover art and band, flyers for concerts and stuff like that.
So were you not collecting at that point? Like I know Luke mentions Frazetta here and stuff like that. Great names.
Oh, fuck
yeah. And Frazetta could definitely an album cover any day of the week.
Yeah.
But so did you stop collecting at that point, or were you still like here and there? You would buy maybe a couple titles and then.
Yeah, every once in a while. Mostly Conan. He was kind of the one that I was like, well, let's see this new take on it because Dark Horse had the IP for that time, and I was like. It was all right. A lot of people really liked what they were doing, but it wasn't my thing because I grew up on Savage Sword.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's the Conan I remember. And I really like that style. So, but I would pick up titles from time to time, but it was really, I was so focused on music. I was in bands and doing that whole thing. So, yeah.
Was most sick.
Influence was Judas Priest's unreleased album, Dudes Doing Each Other.
If you think that's true, Mo, you got another thing coming.
You got another thing coming. Yes, so did he.
Nice. Oh man, dudes doing each other. I'll never escape that shit.
And you didn't know back then either. You didn't know that's what he's singing about. You just thought he was just like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah. Rob Alford. I almost said Rob Liefeld.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, we all know he's married, but hey, you never know. But so was it just mainly comics though that influenced? Like I know album art too, but was it like maybe I really love Rembrandt. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Like the classics. Were any of those like Dali? Were any of those like an influence, or did you just like not even care about the fine art world, and you were just more into like like the illustration commercialized like type stuff? Like format.
Definitely mostly influenced by comic book art. And even if I consider it like an artiste, somebody who's more of an artist and just comic book art, because you think of Frazetta or something, we go, well, he definitely did comic books, but his paintings and his one-offs are really what he's known for.
Well, and that's what I always get into. Like, like I understand like people want to define everything. Well, not everybody, but they want to define things. They like things in a little, like there are little columns and little rows. It's like, comics are commercial art, so therefore it's not art because it's commercialized. So it's just illustration. But look at people like Sienkiewicz. And I know people don't like his personality, but Sienkiewicz,
Sienkiewicz is amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Like, look at
as an artist.
Right, and this is what I'm talking about. Just as an art, separate the art from the artist.
Right.
As their art form, it's an art form. What they do. Look at David Mack. Like, I mean, it's amazing what these guys do because their stuff is art. So even Jim Lee, the dude is an artist. Like, I mean, if you look at like if you pick up the art of Jim Lee, even like you can see what he's doing in there, or even like some of his art books. Like he actually uses different mediums and techniques and stuff. You have to know art to know this stuff. It's not just straight up like I'm gonna draw this and now it's good.
Well,
and,
I think that at the end of the day, that's we were talking about the craziness of Bisley and Jay Lee and stuff like that, and I can't remember who said it. It was like I don't know, Picasso or somebody said that you have to know the rules before you can break them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you want to be wild and crazy and do your own thing, Bill Sienkiewicz has shown it time and time again. So is Bisley, so is Jay Lee, that when they want it to look traditionally more what people associate with art, and not so stylized, they can totally do it.
Right. And yeah, I do. I'd say that. Like, I don't mean it as an insult when I say it. Like, I'll see an Indiegogo campaign or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like a comic book. Like, I'm not insulting it, like art-wise. I'm not insulting it. I'm saying actually that it's good. It looks like a comic.
Right.
Like the art is good. It looks like a comic. But then you get stuff where it's just like that art is just sick. Like that looks like a comic, but it looks like that person is just playing and having fun too.
Right. And putting themselves into it.
Guys aren't. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing to me. I think also another thing that kind of separates art from illustration is your enjoyability and your passion for it. Like there's plenty of people that are commercial artists that do advertising. You think they actually have a passion? A lot of them anyway. Some might, but you think some of them are like, yeah, I get to draw a shoe today.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think so. So to me, but if they're like, oh, I get to really, paint a woman wearing the shoe and get in there. It's still advertising, but they might love it because they get to actually create and do technique. And so I think that thing is a major component in separating illustration from art itself. Is it the passion? And that's what we have over here, dude.
Well, and you can make, there can be some, maybe it's like a passionate person doing commercial art, and it still kind of has that underneath, but it's not what's filling their heart. It's not what they want to do. But I know one of my favorites is John Buscema, and he was kind of known as the company man for Marvel. Like Stanley's like, I need something, Big John, and he's like, I got it.
Yep.
So not everything was his best work, but he was really good. But he hesitated to call himself an artist. People would be like, "Are you a comic book artist?" He said, "I'm a cartoonist."
Yep. There you go.
That almost like cut out the art, like. But you could tell when he did Savage Sword of Conan that he really enjoyed it and he was putting more into it. And that's the thing. You could see the difference of passion between that and if you would just do a one-off of Avengers or something.
Yeah. Well, and it even goes with animation. Like you could tell, like a lot of those guys, like that's why like the Looney Tunes and all that stuff, they were so good because those people really poured their hearts into that stuff.
True.
And you look, that's why a lot of animation stuff you see fall flat today is because they're just doing it just to do it. Almost like it's like okay, I'm talented and I can draw and I know the techniques, so I'm just going to go ahead and make myself some money. Now I'm not saying that they don't love it. Some of them might. Like I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, but you can sometimes you can just tell like man, this person just ain't in it to do it. Like this isn't what he loves to do, and that's why like I'm sure with you when I'm at work, I feel dead and drained inside. I'm like because this isn't what I.
You want to be drawn.
Dude, I'll be shipping crap. And I'm just like, oh, can we thinking about this panel, that format, or even just like weird random, like, oh, this would be cool to draw. I can't wait to get home to do some watercolors on it. Just because an idea pops into my head. And that's actually where Test Your Might also came from was like, I would just be throughout the day and ideas would just randomly pop in my head. I'm like, oh, I could use that for Test Your Might one day. Yeah. And so I'll bring that back one day, but
you should.
I'm gonna, dude. It's just time, and also getting artists together and stuff.
Well, and that's the hard part about where we're at right now. And we all hope that someday we can do it and not have to have a 9 to 5 or whatever. But at the moment, this is kind of what we got to do. It is what it is. Yeah. But you're just sitting there like with your hands under your ass, like waiting for that moment when the bell rings. You get home and you can actually start working on what you actually want to do. But you got to make money. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So.
And I like even Piper loves to draw. She loves to do it. And I know she's a writer and an editor as well. So, it's just, but it's a passionate thing. You want to do these things. We want to do these things because we love them. Yeah. And it's now granted, like all three of us have campaigns where all three of us are passionate about it. But that's like if somebody has $25, like $35, just say for shipping, and that's all they have to back like a project for this month, they're like, well, I got 3 people here. Who do I back?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I want to make it as an artist, but I also need their money. You want to make it, you need their money, and they want to help us, but it's just limited resources. And then, so it's like it is. The talent is so good now in Comicsgate and crowdfunding that it's very difficult to back everybody because there's just so much quality, much quality.
And a lot of uniqueness too. Like I know you were kind of got stopped on that segue you were going on, but about the like this looks like comic book, this looks like a comic book. But the thing that I notice is there are a lot of campaigns out there that are extremely unique, between the artwork, the concepts, the stories, and the talent is always raising. The bar is always getting higher. So it's hard because you only have so much resources to spend.
And so
I've got a lot of books, but like I can only do what I can do. Like there's stuff that have gone by the wayside that I wish I could have got.
And that's the other thing. Like if we were able to do this full time, what's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
What's up, Eric?
If we were able to do this full time, like we could, in the course of a week, even like as artists, maybe do 2 books, at the same time. And like do like 4 pages of each book, like 2 pages of one book, 2 pages of the other book within a week. We easily could because we're doing it full time. Like Piper could have like, draw a cover here or splash page there, or do something and write a couple books and maybe edit a couple things within a couple weeks. Like we could handle more if this was our only gig. and it would,
Yeah.
it would
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
a
I
lot
have
more
a
product.
lot more. 8 hours a day plus all the commuting I do because my work's not close.
Oh yeah,
Man,
geez,
if
dude.
I had all that time to just sit here at the drafting table doing stuff, I'd be like, or at the computer writing stuff. I mean, yeah, game changer. But as it is, it's kind of a labor of love that you hope can be more someday. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like everything starts small, humble beginnings, and hoping that the cream rises. All those,
Yeah.
all those idioms that we want to live by. So.
Well, you can also always tell, like, we're in this because this is what we wanted. Like, as you just said, you have to commute, you have to work 8 hours. So you're working on this book. You did this book. And it's not just because it's a hobby. You're just like, oh, I love to doodle. Maybe I'll make a couple bucks.
Right.
It's like, no, you want to do this. Like, this takes so much time away from family, friends. This is your free time. And
every moment of free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. And so like Piper, she's got kids, she's got a job. Plus, we have to stream, we have to promote. So it's like, okay, but I have maybe 4 to 5 hours after everything is said and done that I have to do all of those things.
Right.
Like, it's like, so it's like, man, where do I start? Where do I juggle? What do I not do? Because I still hang out with my family. I mean, family first.
Yeah, there's all these things you have to still do, family, and we do have to touch earth in the outside world somehow,
Oh yeah.
So I still go out and do things sometimes, but man, even then I'm like, I can't wait to get back and start drawing some more. Yeah.
Well, and not only that, dude, sometimes it's like, and you can't 24/7 everything, like work and comics. Like, it's impossible. You need that shut off time that, okay, I'm going to watch Nobody today just because it's a great movie. I can escape. It's fun. But after I'm watching it, I'm like, man, I could have been working on a page.
Right.
I really wasted my time. Like, we end up feeling guilty because we're not doing
the economy of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like, because we're here for the fans, but we're fans ourselves. So we're like, I really let them down on myself down because I enjoyed life for a second. It's like, yeah,
I wasn't productive for one moment.
Exactly. And like I tell a lot of people, I don't know about you, like sometimes I'll take a break from drawing by drawing. Like, I don't know if you do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to take a break from your project to something else.
Yeah. Like, well, I know some people call them warm-ups. I don't really warm up. I just usually jump right into things. But do you do that? Do you do warm-ups?
No. Like, the only time I do, like, if I start, especially with inks, if I start drawing and it's getting like sloppy, and I don't care about sloppy too much, but if it's like not doing what I wanted to, I either just take a break or take a drawing break, like you're saying, and draw something else, just like get the arm energy going or something.
Yeah.
But
no, go ahead.
What?
Were you done with your thought? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
No. I was just because I was gonna say you did mention inks and like. So are you purely traditional? Like, do you you're adamant, or do you do digital as well? What is like? What do you use? What are your tools?
This whole book is all traditional, and I love it too much. Like, I did about almost 3 years of my life where I didn't do almost any traditional. I did all digital, just to get used to it. I have this Wacom tablet, and I was doing it, and almost like 3 years where I did nothing but just to get used to it, and because it is different. But then after that, I was like, I really miss that tactile feeling of a brush against paper. And then so I got tools again, got the paper, got a new brush, and then I was like, okay, I don't think I'm ever going back to digital. It doesn't feel right. I never really liked it. I was just trying, and so that's it. I love traditional too much. I can see the advantages of digital. I kind of wish I did more, but I just don't want to. So
I mean, it's another tool when used properly. It's just another tool,
for sure.
So it's not the one that you like to utilize.
Yeah, I don't.
And I get it. Now, it happened with me in this way. I don't know if it did with you. After working digital for so long, once you jump back into traditional, did you notice an improvement in your traditional skill?
Yeah, I think so. I think just because
solid answer. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna elaborate. I just think so. No.
What's up, Skip? How you doing, man?
I think part of it. What's up, Skip Edwards? I think part of it was just the feeling of American comics. Good to see you.
Oh, what's up, ACC? How you doing?
Just the excitement of having an actual brush in hand again. Like for whatever reason, I don't know if that made it better. It just made me more excited to do it. So
I
gotta
got you.
say,
it felt better.
playing with digital, one thing I've noticed.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to be playing with digital for a long time simply because my apartment
Cost.
is tiny and it is convenient. So
Yeah.
and I want to get back into drawing. Period. So if this is the way to do it, I'm gonna do it. But what I have noticed,
Any
is one
drawing
thing
is better than no drawing. So,
yeah. One thing that's bothering me is that it lacks. There's something lacking. No, I'm not great at drawing. You've seen my picture.
That cover was great that you did for Rift Riders. By the way, link for that is in the description.
That's that was my first time trying Clip Studio instead of just dicking around and random free stuff.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
The Ahego picture that's still showing up on YouTube was me.
Nice.
And but yeah, what I'm noticing is you can. It's really cool, all the stuff you can do, but I feel like there's something missing. Every time I'm finally done messing with a drawing on there, I'm like, there's something missing, and I can't figure it out.
What I think it is we're all made up of energy and matter and that connection between those. So whenever we're holding a brush or a pen, and we're actually touching sand or touching grass, so to speak, like we're pushing down on the paper, there's another material there made up of atoms and material, and that are made up of us as well. So we're putting more into it. Like there's more of a connection, a connect. Right. When you're working on a screen, you're hitting glass, and then the rest is just all electrons.
Then it's just doing its
existential answer.
Yeah, I mean, and in a way, I do believe it is an existential type of a thing. It's more of a.
It is. It's art, man.
It's art. We as artists, if you work hard enough, you can do anything you want to do, but you have to have the passion as an artist. That's what makes an artist, I think, like we were going back to that. A lot of what we do is because it's a passionate thing. Anybody can practice and work hard enough and do anything they want to do. This is true. I mean, granted, there are physical things, like I can't be a boxer just because of my health, or I can't be a swimmer. I don't have the body for it and stuff like that. But if you work hard enough, I can play the guitar if I work hard enough. I'll never be Dimebag, but if I work hard enough, I could play well and maybe even be in a band. If I practice and I got a trainer, I could sing. Like you can do anything you want to do. You have to love it though. So
I think everybody's nailing it on the kind of artificial feeling.
That's a good way. It's a digital.
Yeah, it's a digital thing.
Perfect. Well, and I don't know if you've watched people stream drawing digitally, and this is the one that drives me nuts because they'll clip an area and then like rotate it to make it like the absolute perfect. What's up, Billy? Do you know what I mean? And they're like rotating, or they're like erasing lines and throwing new ones like over and over, and then they're rotating those lines and just clipping things out and changing. And I'm like, that's craziness. Like to me, it's craziness.
That's what I love about it, though, in time saving sense. But what first got me excited about digital was things like vector line work, where I'm like, you mean if this line isn't quite how I want it, I can just go in and wiggle these things around and make it the line I want. And I was so excited because I was like, I want that super smooth, perfect looking line art. And then I get what I wanted, and I'm like, something's missing. I don't like it.
It's not right, but it's right.
The Twilight Zone where the kids everything he wants come true, and they say, it's not fair. You're supposed to be happy when all your wishes come true.
Exactly. That's a good point, man. And that's the thing, though. Like, we did like you can get that line, dude. I watched a stream, and I remember Camel. He put down. Camel Moon was drawing real zoomed in, and I do it too. But he drew a line. He deleted it like Control Z, line, Control Z, line, Control Z. There was maybe that's 0.0003% difference in each one that he did. And he redrew it like 6 times. And I'm like, that's where digital is a crutch in a way.
Like the first one was the best one anyway.
But dude, I'm like, man, they all look the same because when you zoom out, you're never gonna notice.
That messes me up too. Is trying to get a perfect line and then zooming out and going, it really didn't.
Yeah, I just wasted 20 minutes.
I remember Will Sportasio was talking about that. He wanted to put so much detail in. He's like, so, and that's just on 11 by, he was drawn traditionally 11 by 17 board, but he's like, I put all his detail in, then when it goes to print, you can't even tell, you know.
Can't even tell. And
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm this dude, you see my stuff. I'm the same way. I'll cross hatch like no one's business.
All
and
over the place. Yeah.
And by the time I'm done, I'm like, you're never going to notice what I just did. Like nobody will ever notice.
No, it adds value that you might.
It does add value, but I mean, it's just like there's some things where you can obviously cut the corner. Also, though, that does show the difference between somebody. I've been like you hear Ethan. I've been a comic veteran of 30 years. I've been in comics for 2. Like I don't fully. I know to cut the corners, but I don't know when to or how to.
Yeah, right.
Like he knows.
Yeah.
He knows. Look, I can just take this all out. It'll look exactly the same and save so much time. So but we're so like we're fresh meat. You know, so we want to be like, I want to do all these cool things, even though we don't have.
Well, and also it's like, again, your first foray into this world. You're like, you know, I want to present something that looks badass and badass to you. So now that said, like all that stuff, you know, the longer you do it, the better you get. I mean, there was an old saying, I think it was Joe Quesada. I can't remember who it was. Somebody threw him a commission or a submission at a con, and he's like, come back after you've drawn 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
And whatever, that's an arbitrary thing, 1,000 pages. But the idea being when you've drawn sequential 1,000 pages, you've learned all these kind of like things that you don't know till you do it kind of stuff.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like, I mean, I've easily done 1,000, maybe not comic pages, but easily 1,000 drawings. You know what I mean? But the same difference. But the thing is, with those, though, I'm working like, you know, 18 by 24, 11 by 17 for a flyer or something that's going to be printed big. So I want all that crazy, insane detail in there because you're going to see it, you know? So, but if I'm drawing, like you said, 1,000 pages, though, those get shrunk down. So you're just like, okay, now I know, like, I could burn it up and make it clean and tight and less detail, add, you know, maybe thicker, bold darks here or there, whatever, and get a better product out there. And in the same amount of time, have it look the same, but not, and I don't know, but there is that style thing. Like everyone knows, like they see my work, they know.
The other thing is
we have
time that, you know, people who worked in the industry, monthly titles coming out, and they had, you know, when we're doing this crowdfunding independent stuff, we have a little more leeway of time because we are setting our own timetable. The monthly comic guys are like, oh, I couldn't put that much detail if I wanted to.
Yeah, page a day, dude. You got to cut corners. You do. Like
it's not even necessarily cutting corners. It's mostly it's knowing when to hold back.
Right. You know? Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of maybe cheapening it by saying cutting corners. You're more right where you say holding back, being more reserved.
Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Not harder.
Exactly. Yeah. We're thinking harder, not smarter over here. But but no,
I'll bang my head against the wall for no reason.
Oh, dude, yeah. But you're right though. Like we don't have time, but because of that, we have time. Like, yeah, we work 8 hours a day, but we actually have time though afterwards, even though it's only 4 or 5 hours, we can work on a page and it'll a panel even for 4 hours and do whatever we want with that because we don't have that deadline. We have a deadline because we're saying, hey, my book is supposed to ship at this date. But and as long as we know those limits, we can kind of take our time.
Yeah. We set our own deadline
we set our own deadlines.
And people are understanding, you know, in this sphere, again, it comes back to us having like normal jobs and everything, but then also working harder on things. But in this sphere, you're not getting monthly comics, but people who back comics in the crowdfunding world, you know, they understand that, and that's just the model,
right? Well, and you're getting
I would love to put out you're getting better quality. I would love to put out this level of quality much more regularly, of course, and that comes back to like if we had that 10-12 hours a day that we don't by having a job and a commute, I would easily be able to do this and do it many times a year rather than like spaced out. You know, I'm wanting to put Shove out again next year, but it's going to be around this time next year. But, you know, I know how fast I can do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be an annual book. That's just what it is. Because I want to do some other things. You know, I want to like work on some other things. And I can't do that if I was doing this even biannually with the size, you know, so.
Yeah. And that's like Ink Spots and I, we said on streams plenty of times, we could easily put out, 2 books a year. Like we could do a Frog G book one year in that year, as well as do like I could do Absolute Samurai Priest or something like that. He could do a Metal Mayhem, and those could both come out in the same year. like they'd be spaced apart, obviously.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's why do I have two? What do I have two? All these tabs in my thing. Yeah, so we could do it. It's just
question. I don't know.
Right. I'm not going to share it yet. Man. So I'll play it. Oh no, I didn't mean to share it yet. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Leave.
Go away. We're not promoting that. What is this? What is this?
What is
no. I do the trailers as an overlay. So let's play the trailer.
Nice.
On pure speculation, just an educated guess, I'd say that man is alive.
Come with me, see what I see. The terrible worlds that lie between. The realm observed and the realms unseen, where the dark things live while you dream. Join me, fight on the beholder as I drag your mind into those shadows and corners where you can see like me, those things you don't want to believe. Unconditional Shove, the new horror sci-fi graphic novel anthology series, featuring 2 stories and over 80 pages of compelling, action-packed, terrifying fun. In our first story, I'll take you to a place where the otherworldly is made manifest. In this place, the abstract permeates the cosmology. In this place, your fears will construct the most terrifying animations. Because in this place, monsters exist. And in our second story, we stumble upon an ancient friendship between monster and man. And you'll see why it might be best to keep your monsters close and your enemies even closer. In With Friends Like These. Unconditional Shove Volume 1. A graphic novel for all you lovers of the strange, macabre, and creepy things that we all know exist in the shadows of our universe. Unconditional Shove, back in today on Indiegogo.
There you go. Very nice. And you did that whole trailer, right?
I did the voice, and the music was an old band of mine. Abra's 2 cents. Abra, she edited the entire trailer for me.
That's the best part.
She kicked ass. Yeah. I like to say that she did the narration also.
Yeah, that sounded exactly like her too.
You know, it's Abra. I'm trying to take credit for her work.
No, Abra's great. I like Abra.
Oh, yeah,
he avoids me at all costs. But yeah, no, it's a dope trailer.
Like
dude.
her even
really
more. No, I was kidding.
she's clever. That one. She's smart. She's onto something. All right. And by the way, if anyone has any questions for Odin in the chat, feel free to ask them. Piper will highlight and she will use her lovely voice and ask them for you because I can't.
Just real quick, I wanted to hail. I didn't see that they're here. Hail Corey Barton and Belmont and Justin Belmont.
Yep, Belmont's here. Yeah. Corey's here. I quietly did say hi to them.
Okay, well, I was probably
No. You were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you, dude. You know, I want to say, but you know, we do want to hail the chat because
we want to acknowledge. Yeah, all good people, man. All the coolest people.
Dude, Belmont and Corey, both very talented cats. So So if you have a question for Odin, feel free to ask. So and Piper will get it.
We did just last night get fully funded. So
hail. Nice, man. That's dude. That weight.
Yeah, that
whenever it's you're just like, oh, thank goodness, man. Yeah, because like
obviously we want more and more. You know, you just
right. But you want that pressure off to be like, oh man, I really want because you mainly you want to make the book.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. I want to get to that threshold and feel. You know, I was making this book regardless, but you can't go in demand. All these kind of things. So it's like, well,
right.
You know, it's good to know that the options open up. And that was kind of like a base level of like, you know, we'll still be good. It's still a little out of pocket, but it's not that bad. Yeah.
Well, dude, but like you said, you could go in demand. You don't like you still are going to show and promote, but you don't have to worry about hitting it as hard, really, if you don't want to. Like you don't have to stress it. It's not the main concern. Now your main concern is like, okay, stretch goals. printing, updates, working on other projects. Like if you don't have pages done, working on pages, like
Yeah, we're
and
very
doing all
close to.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Devil Flyer?
Very close to. Ooh, what's up, Devil Flyer? Good to see you.
All right, sweet. So, how many pages? This is now Unconditional Shove. This is your first foray.
Both Fury and Foray. It's the first.
Yes, first endeavor.
It's my first Fury.
This isn't like but like this is your. I like fairies. This is my first fairy. One might call me a fairy, but no, this is like you never did like zines before or anything. Like this is your first like.
Well, I've had different art printed and like some poetry books and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, and I've had it printed on CD liner art and but I've never made a graphic novel or comic book that's been
true.
Printed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Me. Yeah.
So
nice.
This is the first.
This is the first. Now, for those of have never seen you before, this is their first ever viewing of anything comics related. What is Unconditional Shove?
Unconditional Shove is a horror sci-fi anthology series that I'm starting. The first issue, this volume 1, is the one that we're putting out now, is 80 pages, and it's 2 stories. I still call them short stories because they have full beginning and ending.
They're contained stories.
Contained stories. That's the term. Yeah. And so two in this volume. I'm thinking the next volume I might shorten the stories and do more of them. But anyway, yeah. So it's in the style of like horror anthologies, and we kind of went in hard on giving a call back to like the old Tales from the Crypt and EC, Vault of Terror, Haunt of Fear type stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
Eerie and creepy.
Cool.
The Warren.
It's like an homage or a tribute in a way.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of that just came from like the artwork kind of looked like that. So I did that cover with the bold red block title and then Unconditional Shove. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to write it in that font, that would remind you of like
the Creep Show.
Yeah. Creep Show. So, but my artwork kind of lends itself to that feel. Now that said, they would usually do 6 to 12 page short stories.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
And they'd have several of them in there. So these are a little more fleshed out, a little more detailed on the story end. And the first one's definitely a little more serious. The second one's more campy, but lots of horror. And I love the idea of like fun horror. As I think about it,
like Evil Dead type stuff or Dead Alive.
It's like a little tongue in cheek, a little fun. But even like the ones that were scary from the 80s, like a lot of them still had this fun element. I think now a lot of times they're like, let's make a horror movie, but they're like, let's just drag you into hell and hold you there.
Yeah, most horror movies these days is just gore,
Yeah, and I mean, all of that's great, but if you don't balance it with
levity.
I say the fun. Yeah.
You got to have some sense of levity.
But the characters come alive a little more when you have that,
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like I said, the artwork, I think it, keep it enough like this image, this panel here, is like enough on the cartoony side to like, might scare a little kid, but the rest of it looks cool.
Check out I don't know if you may follow him already, but The Art of Skinner. He's on Instagram. He did a Skin Crawl magazine.
A
Kickstarter. This reminds me a lot of Skinner, dude. It's sick. I love it. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, Skinner's dope, and this, like I said, this hits on those levels too. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, and you could. This definitely has that even that old Marvel Comics horror comic, feel to it. It has that vibe. Even the colors.
Well, all the big publishing companies used to make quite a bit of horror comics. It went out of vogue, and like the time we were collecting, there wasn't really any good horror comics.
No, dude, it was superheroes were too big when
it was all superheroes. Yeah. But then I remember seeing Evil Ernie on the wall at my comic book shop. And that was back when Brian Polito was doing Chaos Comics. He calls it Coffin Comics now. But
I have a Lady Death 1.
Yeah, Lady Death 1. So I have the Evil Ernie 1 and Evil Ernie 2. Evil Ernie 2, I think, is when he introduced.
Myself about it, yeah.
But that's when he introduced Lady Death, and then he found that she was such a marketable character because of the TNA. But
yeah, go figure.
Go figure. But I saw Evil Ernie, and I thought this is right up my alley because it was like on the verge, like I said, getting into metal, and I'm like, this looks so badass. Now, again, that wasn't really a horror comic, even though it was, but it was a lot of fun. Like all the image, everything was like excitement, and so yeah, that's another title I can say like was an inspiration for that, you know, because again, a lot of horror art nowadays is just like it's dark, it's evil looking, but it doesn't look like a place I want to hang out. You know
yeah. Well, that's and the ones I mentioned him again. That's why I like Skinner stuff so much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like
I definitely want to check him.
Like it's kind of psychedelic, but horror and like just creepy and weird. It's like, man, I could hang out with this dude and not feel creepy. Yeah. So even Clive Barker stuff. I mean, his artwork is pretty out there. You know.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah,
he was kind of on that cusp where it's like, you know, are we losing the fun, or is it just, you know, like I said, getting, you know, doused with hell and evil? Like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah,
sludgy.
Well, and like it's weird because like people see me, I love metal, so they would think like, oh, you know, he's all into the horror. I'm not into the horror scene all that much, but I love the artwork here and I love everything about it, and that's like why I backed it.
Right.
You know, it just hits home to me. Like it just has, and like once again, it calls back to that style. Like I admit, like Swamp Thing, even Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Bernie
got that vibe to it, you know, and I love that. That's what I'm drawn into. So like I've seen all these horror movies and stuff, but it's like not my go-to. I'm more or less like Hot Rod and Hot Fuzz and stuff like that. You know, give me
give me that's, you know, taking it to active music. Like I think of especially the first album by White Zombie, Less Exorcism. Like all of that imagery and the color work and everything, it was like so fun. And I was like, it was a lot of like horror elements, and they would use all these you know, movie quotes in the songs, and I'm like, I just love the aesthetic. It got to me.
This is cool. Did you do your whole page?
Actually, James is the other half of Broken Compass Comics, Magnificent Bastards. James, he set up the page for me.
This is dope. I like this.
Yeah, he was saying he was selling me on the idea of having the GIF in there.
Yeah,
he's like, you don't want the never-ending scroll. You know, like you want to show interior pages, but you don't want people to just be like 1,000 miles into.
And it's an eye catcher too. Like when you see a GIF on anyone's campaign page,
things are moving.
Yeah.
What's up, Rebel Roo?
What's up, Rebel? How you doing, man? Yeah, but it's a stopper too. Like you see these things moving, you're like, oh, because this is the same difference as to why what makes a lot of people like actually watch TV is that if it's on, they'll stop moving things. They'll stop and start watching, and then they'll like sit down.
Can't help but look at it. Yeah,
you can't help but look at it. Yeah. Does he have a question?
No, he said, "Yo."
Oh,
he says, doing good.
Good.
But yeah, Wrightson, and just real quick because we were talking about you know, influences and stuff and how it kind of circled around, and I went back and found older artists. He was such a huge influence.
Wrightson's, yeah.
Once I found out, I actually found him through like trading cards. Like there was a time when they were making Frazetta and Wrightson like trading cards, and this was way back.
Yep.
And I bought a pack just on a whim because it said Bernie Wrightson, Master of the Macabre. I'm like, that sounds cool.
That ain't no lie.
looked at his line work, and I went, holy shit. I got a long way to go, man. And,
he's so good. It makes like we lost him way too soon. Like we really, you know, and his Swamp Thing, forget about it, man. You know, right there alone. Like he had that Frankenstein, all that stuff, but man, that dude was a master. I mean, without a doubt. Like there's very few that are, and he was definitely a master. But like he also brought me, because of him, I like people like Kelly Jones and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Kelly Jones was basically took the mantle, you know, like you know, Kelly Jones definitely has his own thing going, but he's
you can tell Kelly Jones when you see
definitely
it
from the Wrightson lineage, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the flavor. It's like Wayshack and Keith. Like you could tell Keith from a Wayshack, but you could see the inspiration in the flavor. Right. You know, it's all there. It's got similar spices, similar coating. I like food, is what I'm saying. But
I'm getting hungry. That's all I'm saying.
We had soup and a sandwich, you know, for lunch. So, but Yeah, this is sick. I love the artwork, and that's what drew me to it. Like we did hang out. Like I hung out on 80s Maiden. I got to know you, which I'm happy about. But I mean, the artwork when I saw this, I'm like, yeah, dude, this is cool. This is style. Like this is flavor. It has a soul. You know, it has heart. You know, like you can tell you love doing this, and it shows.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like to back. Those are the campaigns that I prefer to get, are the ones where I can tell this person it isn't like, yeah, there's people who love comics and they're just like, yeah, I guess I can make one. But then there's people who just like, I love this stuff, and you can tell.
Yeah,
so
you see that in every artistic expression. You know, I used to be in lots of bands, and there was people that would do that too. Like you were talking about, I can learn to play guitar and be competent at it,
right?
But until the soul's there,
well,
it doesn't ever like fully become like, you know,
right. And you can tell, like,
right.
And this, like, I mean, and this is actually a talking point amongst music people anyway, or metalheads today, especially since it's happening right now. Is like Pantera's back, so everybody's like, but is it Pantera or is it just a tribute? Now, to me, it's like the soul of Pantera was Phil and Dime, like, so half the soul is missing, like, because Dime without a doubt, and that's why it's so hard to find a guitar player like Zach. Great guitar player.
A lot of that soul too, and he's gone too. You know,
Vinny was, but he was more of a business aspect. I
think if you ask drummers, they're like, "Oh, he was."
If you ask drummers, yeah, I guess. As a layman, though, like a non-musician, like when you're looking at the kind of things,
it was all Phil and Dime. Yeah,
it's Phil and Dime mainly,
and
like that's why, like, Zach is competent. He's good. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying he doesn't have soul. But there's just something magical about Dime in that band, especially, that it was like, wow, he loves this. Like, it's like, this is his. Like, and you could tell even with Phil. I mean, granted, the drugs weren't helping anything, but you could tell when Phil was in his moment, when the monster was there, like, you could tell this dude, this is what he loves. Like, he loves this. So you have half of the soul there. So to me, it's still Pantera. But that goes back to the solo. You can tell your soul is in this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can teach yourself to draw and stuff like that, but is the soul there? Is the passion there?
Right.
And to me, it is. Like with this one, that's why I backed it. So we're gonna get to everybody's favorite part: the tears.
The tears of joy.
The tears. I'm glad you have a featured tear. Because that's usually what I look at. Usually, what I get. It all depends on price points.
Sure. I mean, and some people put the featured tiers their most expensive. I'm like, I don't know if that's your best idea. But
to me, it should be kind of the most expensive, but at a good price point, like at a good deal. Even
so still. Ours here is so there's I'll let everyone know that there's a black and white version, because originally this was going to be just black and white, and then I decided no, I want to do color. And so I got colorist on board. So the featured tier is both the black and white and colored version. And what is interesting, I didn't know how well it was going to do, but it's the best bang for your buck, because if you bought them separately, it'd be $10 more than that price.
Nice.
So it's the best bang for your buck, but also a lot of people wanted to see, because they'd been seeing my artwork just black and white. They're like, oh, I love that. And I'm like, well, you're going to love this color version. Trust me. Demir's colors are bringing everything to life, but it is two totally different experiences. And so a lot of people, that is the most claimed tier. And I think that's really the thing. People want to see the side-by-side experience.
I do believe I got that as well. Like I said,
I think you got that.
All right. I love your lines, your artwork. It's sick. But like, you're right. The colors, the colors really grab the feel of that old school, like vibe of a creep show or something like that, like comic. Right. You know, it just he knows his skill set. You know, so he's good at what he does.
He asked me, what are you thinking, and I just said, I sent him a bunch of examples, mostly covers, because EC Comics weren't colored interiors, so I'd send him the covers. But I'm like, you see the feel, this kind of feel.
He nailed it.
Aesthetic. I'm like, just make it modern. Like, do that, but make it modern. And like, that's exactly what he's been doing.
To me, like, this looks like it could have been colored with P.H. Martin's, watercolor. So yeah, it definitely he
used textures and things to give it, like, it looks like it was a watercolor or something, of traditional techniques. So
and then you got the black and white. Is that what that is? You got to kind of do this. This is all on you, buddy. I can't really see it.
Oh.
As you're moving on, I'll catch on. Yeah. So then we got the black and white digital. Available for $10.
Nice, which is good for international backers like
Yeah,
Australia.
I mean,
Hint, hint.
the shipping gets ridiculous. We all
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
And Odin hooked you up with free shipping on this one. Normally, people charge an arm and a leg on digital shipping, but Odin's nice. Said no.
Digital shipping is free. Yeah.
Digital shipping's free.
That's because I am, yeah, I'm nice.
You will find
That's
it.
the only reason I would do that.
Yeah. Nice. And now you have physical, right?
Yeah. So physical, just black and white version there for 30. And then the physical color for 40. So
Nice. Yeah.
And then the last tier, so we kept it really simple. It's really simple tiers. We don't have a lot of like merch and tchotchkes and stuff. So the last one is you get both versions of the book, but the main perk of or reason for the price is your choice page of interior art, original art.
Here's the thing. All right, hold on. So if you back the featured tier, it's what, 50?
60.
60. So you're for $190, you get an original art.
For $190, you get an original art.
That's crazy. That's a steal. That is a steal, dude.
Yeah, and you also get your choice. It's 80 pages. Now it's on down the line. Someone claimed that, and we also ran a promotion on Thanksgiving weekend where 2 people claimed. So you'd still get your 4th pick out of the 80 pages. But
right, first come, first serve.
First come, first serve.
Now, are the covers in there too?
No covers. Okay. So there's the only thing that are hands off are the 2 covers. So there's a black and white cover and a color cover. Neither of those are getting sold. I'm keeping those for myself. And then there's a 2-page spread.
Selfish.
Oh,
so selfish.
There's a 2-page spread that's not available either because I don't want to split that up.
No, you just double the price.
Right. You know, if somebody really wants it, they could send me an extra $200 and you could get it.
There you go, exclusive.
There could be let's make a deal. Who knows?
You just DM Odin, he'll sell it to you. Plus,
what's up, Lord Liam?
Yeah, everything's for a price. What's up, Lord Liam? How you doing, man?
Everything's for a price. That's true. The covers are even negotiable, but I do not want to get rid of them. But
I understand how that goes, man. But and I'm the same way, dude. There are some things that I've done that I'm just like, just not right now.
If I got rid of one of those covers, even if someone paid me several thousand, and I was like, done, there'd be instantly seller's remorse. I'd be like, damn it.
Yeah,
I don't have that anymore. Yeah.
You got a high res print, or they do.
Or they do.
They'll never know. Just add some live ink to it. They won't.
Yeah, just throw some white out,
just throw some random things on there and make it
like
look
it's
traditional.
legit. Trust me.
We never do this, people.
No, I would never do that.
We never ever do these things unless we say we're doing them. Yeah, and honestly, man, I like this is if like maybe even Samurai Priest might be like this. I like fewer tiers. I like keeping it simple. Now, do you have add-ons? Like, if I don't know why, since you only have like the 3 things, and you could back this, but
we have one add-on. It's unrelated. I mean, it's related because it's Broken Compass Comics, but it's Magnificent Bastards.
Oh, okay.
It's a special limited print black and white version of Magnificent Bastards, which I did a Chinatown homage cover for.
Ooh, nice.
Which I could show you real quick.
Yeah, bring it up, man. So hold on, I had a question. This popped up and it confused me. When is the shipping expected shipping?
We're expecting to ship in spring.
Okay.
And that should be pretty doable. I mean, outside of, craziness going on. So as long as nothing, the book's nearly done from the pen and ink side. My color
Did you pull up that image yet?
No, I was just going to pull up the actual.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I kicked you.
And you kicked me. Thanks.
Piper, can you make him big, please?
Oh, shit.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll let Mo hear that phrasing.
He already did.
You need help making him big?
You got him. You did your job, Piper. Thank you for that. Oh, that's sick, man. Nice.
Yeah, so it's a Chinatown homage cover. So this is the cover to the Magnificent Blasters.
Yeah, back to Blastard, everybody.
Blastard.
He'll blast you away.
But the cover for the black and white Magnificent Bastards is a limited print that is the add-on. And it's pretty cheap as an add-on, too. So, yeah, quite a few people have picked that one up as well. as they're on their way out.
So
to
it
check out.
oh, not Kelsey. Hold on. It was hi, Past Master Dan.
What's up, Pastors?
That was probably me. I'm multitasking.
Oh, is it the clacking keyboard?
Yeah, I didn't know y'all could hear it. I thought I fixed my game.
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
could hear it.
but-
It's background noise.
You're fine though, Piper. I am happy you were here.
I feel like I'm in an accounting office. It's great.
All right, I'm the
not as-
secretary. I'm doing other secretary things.
Well, Piper, it's not as loud as Shay typing, so we're just like
okay.
boom, boom. Yeah. So,
Jeremy's here.
What's up,
yo,
Jeremy?
what's up,
Good to see you,
crackhead?
man.
How you doing, man?
Yeah,
Good to see you.
crackhead.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions for Odin, feel free to ask. Piper will highlight them and shout them out.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jeremy. We launched on his channel, which was fun.
Oh, dude,
Awesome.
Jeremy's a friend,
Crazy guy.
and we launched on his as well. I mean, we launched on like everyone's on day one, but
Right.
we launched ending day. We was on Crackheads, and it was so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was hanging out in the chat when you guys launched. That was fun.
yeah, always a good time being on his channel.
Oh, yeah.
Man. I know it's never a dull moment.
The whole
Good
panel,
discussion.
Jeremy, they're fucking cool, man.
All this, you got Snuggy, you got Lord Ravener, and everybody. Yeah. Good times. Yeah.
Good fellas there.
Good fellas. Yeah. So yeah, everybody, the link for this is pinned up top and in the description below. So easy to find. You're not shadow banned, right?
No, and I think I was explaining it to somebody. This is my thought process on it. All of the pages or all of the text and everything explained in the book, it's all image files. So there's no actual text on the campaign. These were all dropped in image files. And I was thinking if there was some kind of text that was triggering things, we wouldn't have it because there's no text on the campaign.
True.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I wondered if that was it, because somebody was giving me a hard time. They're like, well, none of those words are searchable because they're all image files. And I'm like, I get that, but I think it might have kept us from getting whatever trigger. You don't know what's going on there.
Who knows what it is? I mean, and also, I mean, you don't have any vulgar, violent, or explicit content on.
Yeah,
here.
I mean,
Like, it's
there's
all
some
pretty safe.
implied, but it's pretty safe. Yeah.
It's pretty safe. It's pretty safe. Like you can still tell it's horror and macabre, but it's
Right.
still very. It's safe. It's safe here.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
know?
throw any of the bloodier images.
Right.
I didn't show any titties.
Yeah. So in the title itself, unconditional shove. Like there's nothing horrible there, so it's that makes it still searchable. So
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, all those things. So, for whatever reason, yeah, we avoided that horror of the
yeah,
show.
dude. And it once again though, it's a hit and miss. Who knows why as to why things are getting shadow banned and stuff. But like weird things are, weird things aren't, and if you fix them, it doesn't matter. So yeah, but no, it's good you're not, because people can still go on to Indiegogo though. Type in unconditional shove. And now, what made you choose that title?
Yeah, that's always the $1 million question. Like a lot of people are like, that's a weird title. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. That's
well,
it.
because I kind of wanted something relatively arbitrary, like something that was just I thought was a cool phrase, but not really. I don't know. I think it's the '90s mindset of mine, because like listening to like a lot of '90s music, you're like, those lyrics don't make any sense. Why did you call it chapstick? That's not even a real. Why is that? For a middle
Right.
song? So that was kind of the thought. But I had actually written a song and I named it "Unconditional Shove." And then in the early 2000s, I was doing a blog called Unconditional Shove, and I had like the domain. So it's kind of been like a term that's I've been attached to for a long time. So then I was like, I'm going to make a comic. What should I call it? And because it was anthology, I was like, it'd be kind of arbitrary. Let's just call it what I've been calling a lot of shit. So Unconditional.
The title works. Why not keep with it?
Yeah, it's associated with me, and it's one of those things where people go, "That doesn't make any sense," and some people actually go, "Like, I'm not buying it because of that," or they say that anyway.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you don't usually forget it.
Oh, you dude, no, yeah,
that was weird. I'm not gonna
yeah.
forget.
I could see maybe people being like, "What is it? Unconditional love? Like, what is it?" Like, maybe they do that.
Right,
but yeah. Now, if you're
lots
under,
of good puns too.
Sure. And as of right now, you're under Broken Compass Comics. Do you ever
Yeah.
see yourself branching out, maybe doing your own LLC, or like maybe like a small company, just so you can put out other projects or something like that, or anything?
Well, Unconditional Shove, I'm actually partnered with James, so like
Mhm.
it's just as much my publishing company as his.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, that is my publishing company. I mean, we have lots of big plans for other stuff.
Okay.
You know, as much as we can possibly do, you know, and trying to bring in
What's
some
up, Admiral?
talent. What's up, Wagass? Good to see you, brother.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
And don't forget, everybody, hit like, share, and subscribe. I know I didn't say it throughout
absolutely.
the whole stream because I'm a rookie. I mean, I'm not a pro like, you know, Matt Barr. But yeah, no, like, share, and subscribe this because people can even catch the replay and you know, get more eyes on this campaign. It's a great campaign. Even if you're not like huge into horror, but you love the art and stuff, it's there. You know, it's so cool. I love it. It's so much fun. And you got the black and white line art. If you're like, I'm an artist edition kind of guy, and I'm a line art like I showed it earlier. I have the
Right.
I accidentally have two of these somehow. I don't know how I backed it but yeah. So I love the line art. You know, I like split it.
Well, I typically do too, and I also love those old horror comics, which were all black and white. And I just got like an artisan edition, which is not the artist edition, which are the giant ones.
Yeah, it's similar.
But I got one of those with all the old, and they have like all the markings all over the page and all the whiteout spots, and you see all the imperfections. And I love that shit. You know,
dude, I love it, and that's like. And don't get me wrong, like I am a line guy, but I love colors too. Like, there's a reason why I got ink spots. You know,
right?
So the colors on this are, man, they hit. You know what I mean? They make this like they tie that whole essence of a horror comic together.
Yeah, and I was skeptical, and I didn't want to pay for the, you know, because I don't do colors myself.
Right.
And I was like, but I remember overhearing somebody, and they weren't even talking about my book. They were just talking in general, and they're like, I would never buy a comic if it wasn't color. And I just remember them saying that. I'm like, you know what?
Color books do sell. The colored sell better.
A lot of people thinking that way. You know, there's a lot of people that are just like
racist.
that.
Yeah.
It's not no, what?
Colored sell better. Yeah. No, and they do though. People like seeing the bright colors and like even the darker color. They like things in that they gives it more grounded roots in a way, even though it's a fantasy type or you know, it's a comic.
Yeah.
And one question I've asked throughout these years on Red Valkyrie and such, I'm going to stick with it. I stick with it. If you were a tree, what tree would you be?
What tree would I be? See, I have no time to think on this. Let's see.
No, you got to answer it.
I'd be a ponderosa pine.
What? That's a tree?
Yeah, fuck yeah, it's a tree.
That's a ranch. People eat food on. What's a ponderosa?
Where are you at in the States? Because I got 20 ponderosas outside my door.
I'm in Ohio, dude. I don't know what they look like.
Oh, okay. Well, if you live in the evergreen state like Washington, like I do,
see, I don't.
We got pines and firs and stuff.
You got a ponderosa, huh?
Ponderosa pine. They grow straight.
Oh, it's a pine.
Strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
so you're saying you're straight and strong?
Straight and strong. That's how.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, all you guys who thought I was like.
I'm sorry, 80s maid. You just can't have this one.
It's not how dudes do each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not this dude anyway.
Not this great strong dude.
Nice. Piper, do you want to promote anything? You want to talk about it? You want to show anything?
I guess I can remind people that Rift Riders is in demand. It's not closed. It's in demand.
The link is down below in the description.
Nice. So yeah, so you haven't missed it, but you're gonna miss it soon. So
ooh, don't miss it.
Yeah.
Do you have
for anybody
date?
that was waiting, because you know, and I get it, because that's how I choose what to back is when it's closing. So just know that it is I don't know exact date, but time's ticking because it will close before it goes to print or when it goes to print.
Just keep them guessing. It could be gone tomorrow, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. I know. Hey, it's Christmas. You know, your son doesn't desperately need that Game Boy. Go ahead and back Rift Riders. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
That's what your son needs is Rift Riders.
Rift Riders.
Yeah.
Game Boys are out of
Your
date.
son
anyway.
needs Rift Riders. Piper's needs a Game Boy.
Yeah. Piper needs a Game
Everyone
Boy
can
and
be
back
happy.
Rift Riders. It actually works.
Yeah.
That way. Real quick then, will Rift Riders be on available on his website once it closes then?
I'll have to ask him the details. Okay. I don't see why not after
you gotta
it's
be
printed.
Prepared, Piper.
Come after it's printed. I know that the some stuff is becoming unavailable even on the in-demand campaign as we go. So that, you know, it'll be limited to backers specifically. But I do believe with the regular cover, it will eventually become available again for sale.
Nice. Cool. All right.
And say him, we're talking about Luke Stone.
Luke Stone. Yeah. Yes. And links for Piper's YouTube, Twitter, and Riff Fighters in the description below. Links for Odin are in the description below, as well as Unconditional Shove. Everybody go back it today. It's sick. It's awesome. It's dope. And you can save money by getting that featured tier. It's a good deal. Pick it up.
And while you're at it, check out and back Frog G. I'm sure there's links all over the place somewhere.
There better be, because that's the only way you can find it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, go to Indiegogo and search Frog G.
Search Frog G and you won't find it. No, yeah, links for that. Link for that.
And like and subscribe.
Yes, please do. Please do. I'm going to hit the right button, hopefully. And thank you once again, everybody, for showing up. Hail the chat. Share this out.
Everyone.
And have a great day.
Master
Piper,
Dan,
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Thank you,
bye,
Piper.
everybody.
You rock.
Long day.
That is the wrong ones. Wrong with you, Piper.